24/2. Here we go. Mountaintop Chats with the Guru.
Okay, welcome. I'm so excited about today's show. Of course, I'm excited every week, but the stack of stuff I have is powerful. I'm going to do my best to keep moving and get through it. Every week, of course, I say I'm going to move through my stack of stuff, and Karen laughs at me because the stack of stuff grows throughout the week. But the stack of stuff today starts with a great factoid. Some research done by Inman, which love it. By the way, if you're not a member of Inman, you should be. If you're a professional in the real estate industry, Inman is, of course, the news organization of record for us, and I am so thankful for them. But 24%, a study done, 24% of buyers have lost confidence that they can actually buy a home right now, and they're saying that buying a home right now is not a good time to buy. They're tired of losing, in the battle towards getting a home. And I think I understand. I mean, when you have in some of our markets, like the one I'm in, where we have 20, 30 offers on lots of our homes that are out there, and only one person can end up buying, obviously, just by definition, right? So only one person can end up buying the home, and you're up against these other 20, 30, or even up to 40 maybe offers that might be out there. That's discouraging. So what we're finding now is that 24% of eligible buyers that have been active in the market and attempting to buy a home are now saying it's not a good time, and they're pulling themselves out of the market. That is more than a little shocking. I can hardly imagine just saying to myself, I'm not going to own a home, because I've owned a home so much of my life and been thankful and lucky for that. I bought my first home at 19 years old, and no, I was not wealthy. It was one of those situations that I found somebody to give me a private loan on a home in the Portland market. It was $27,500 for those of you just wanting to know. It wasn't much money in comparison to now. I thought it was an amazing boatload of money at the time. I could hardly believe that I was saddling myself with debt. I bought it as a flipper, and it worked for me. Okay, so the next piece of news, though, I wanted to promote something here, because I mentioned the Inman thing, how wonderful Inman is. And I do want to promote Inman here real quick. No, they're not paying me to do this. I just love them so much. I've been to the Inman Connect conference before. I've done it online. Well, the Inman Connect conference is in New York this year. It's April 19th to the 21st. It is expensive. I mean, oh boy. Here I'm promoting something that's crazy expensive, but I'll tell you why in a second. So I'm promoting something. It really is expensive. In person is $1,449. That feels like, Karen, it feels like a lot of money to go to a conference and pay for. It's not a license. It's not a degree. It is a conference, and it's $1,449 to go in person to this conference. However,
Rod, you have to compare that to going to some of the other tech conferences and whatnot. They're a fortune to attend. There's a lot of vendors and whatnot involved, and you can get a lot out of it. But this is not something for our brand new brokers. This is something for somebody that's looking for cutting edge information and technology. I just put in the banner the Inman Connect, April 19th through the 21st. It's in New York. You can Google them online to sign up if you guys are interested. Definitely, a fun event if you can afford it, or if you just need an excuse to go to New York and watch some Broadway show.
Yeah, that's right. And as a bonus, you can do the online from anywhere for $299. And I did the online. Was it last year we did online, Karen?
Yeah.
and it's wonderful. I mean, the way they have the online interact with you is absolutely wonderful. So anyway, want to promote that, and that's just kind of an off the cuff promotion because I just love them so much. All right, so I also want to talk about some other news that coming out of the pandemic. Well, everybody feels like that we are only online now. However, there's a big push with a survey out there, and it's a large survey of the back to fundamentals or back to basics. What are consumers looking for? So you're trying to list homes, you're trying to interact with people. What is your best way to go back now and interact with people? Well, it's the old-fashioned back to the basics, and that is go to your database, start working your database, start working your neighborhood, and connect with people. Call them, email them to set up an appointment for an in-person appointment. People are looking to get back together. This is huge. Now, I want to make sure this I'm clear here. We're never going to roll in any point in time. You never roll the clock backwards. People say, "Oh, well, we're going to go back to what it was before." No, we're not. That never happens. We now have new skills, new tools. This online stuff never worked as good as it does today. This is working better than ever before. And now that we have these tools, of course, we're going to continue to utilize them, whether it's at an Inmate Connect convention or other schooling and conventions and getting together with people or having meetings with your client. But there are a lot of people that are wanting to get back together and do in-person meetings at least part of the time. So putting together your database again, going back and looking at your database, and the last 2 years has been this horrible COVID-19, and I hope that you didn't get it. I've had my 2 shots and my booster, but I still think I may have had a touch of it. I'm not quite sure. I had something at one point that kind of sounded that way. I didn't get tested, but now that we've come out of it, there are a lot of people feeling like they want to retouch base, even that they will continue to use video. There's no doubt video, and we're going to talk about it later today. Video is red hot, but they want to go back to reincorporating an in-person meeting. Let's remember now, we're dealing with the most expensive thing in most people's lives, and that is their home. This is as big as it gets for the majority of the population. It doesn't get larger than this. All right, I have a correction in the land of correction from last week. My statement was correct, but my slide was wrong. So this is now behind us. We're looking at March. March was now the 121st month of continual increase of equity. This is the longest standing on recorded history to have 121 months. That's 10 years and a month ago now, and I don't think this is going to end this year. Eventually, it will end. Last week, I had marked this on the slide as 120, so I just wanted to go back for those that had turned me down. I can't imagine someone turning me down, Karen. And anyway, I wanted to make sure I had the correction there. That we have had 121 months of continued growth in equity in the U.S. This is absolutely unprecedented because this is the most in recorded history. All right, I am so excited to get over to our guest. Our guest is Wes Davis, a licensed real estate broker, and we're going to meet Wes right after this.
So, Rod, what does it mean? 7 minutes to a new career?
Well, in 7 minutes, we can have a cup of coffee. We can talk career goals and how we're going to help you make the biggest career move in your life.
That's right. There's a lot of things that Mountain Hood Realty has to offer, and Rod is a ball of energy.
I love the career, and I want to share with you my passion for building your business bigger than you ever thought it could be.
Come spend 7 minutes with us. We look forward to it.
Talk to you soon.
Here is Rod with our guest, Wes Davis.
Welcome, Wes, to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
I'll tell you, Wes, I'm so excited about today because you have a long history in real estate and in multiple ways. So I'm very excited. But, I always like to start off with the question. Everybody has done something before. Nobody is born and starts as a realtor. So what are some things you did before becoming a realtor?
Well, quite a few, really. For a while, I was a catering chef. I had my own catering company, did that for a while. I also created a charity in Las Vegas and ran that for a while and ended up working in nonprofits and also at was a senior health educator at Monterey County Health Department over in California. And then I decided to get into real estate because it'd be less stressful.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So you were a catering chef, and if I remember right, you do some desserts?
I do a lot of things. Right now, I do a lot of desserts. That's what people seem to like cheesecakes, things like that. And
I will tell you, Wes, my favorite is creme brulee. You may have heard those words from me before. Love creme brulee, but you got to have it fired right. You got to have the glass on it right.
Right. And most people put the sugar on when it's warm, then it doesn't work as well. Custard has to be cold, and then you have to use a torch to really caramelize the sugar the best.
Have you done that on the table in front of people?
Oh yeah, I did cooking classes at Williams-Sonoma for a while.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So anyway, I could go on about the food thing for a long time because of your wealth of knowledge in food and my love of food. So, but I want to get over to real estate. So you decided to get into real estate. Where were you? And what pushed you that direction? What's going on? What was going on?
Well, I'd wanted to do it for many years, and people kept discouraging me from doing it, and I listened to them, which is a lesson. Never listen to people tell you not to do something. You need to know it for yourself, whether you're going to do it or not.
Good point.
So I had moved over to California to take care of some things there, and I moved back to Las Vegas, and that's when I got into real estate, and that's been 26 years ago.
Wow, 26 years. So you started the career of real estate in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And that's where you have spent your bulk of, you're in Oregon now, but you spent the bulk of your years in Las Vegas.
Right. When I started, a brand new house was only $95,000, and a good interest rate was about 9 to 10%.
I remember the double-digit interest rate days, and it sounds like you do as well. So probably everybody asks, Wes, but was your office near the Strip?
No, it really wasn't. And most people think Las Vegas is just a strip, and really that's just one street. And at that time in 95, I think there was about maybe 900,000 people in the valley. And when I left last year, it was almost 3 million. So it grew exponentially.
Wow.
So we really had to be out. So it's there's really nothing to sell on the Strip if you're a real estate broker because no one really lives there.
I never thought about that really, Karen, that nobody really, and we visited there. In fact, we're going to go to a convention at the M Hotel. I may have mentioned this to you, Wes, the Video Ranking Academy convention. It's going to be at the M Hotel. And I never thought about nobody living in that area, but I've never seen a house there.
No, and it's all commercial. Now the M is out towards the end of the South Strip, out towards Henderson, and there are some houses in that area now, but it used to be where it sits now was basically dirt. There was nothing there 10 years ago. So
wow,
that's probably where they were able to find land.
Well, there's a lot of land in the Vegas Valley. Some of it's land, Bureau of Land Management land, and they have done swaps and trades with them for different parcels and done things. That's where Hughes and Summerlin came in, where they had this huge swaths of land that were basically you can't build on because it was federal, and they swapped that for other land they owned, and so they could.
So, Wes, let's talk about some of your favorite deals over the years before we bring it up to speed of current day. What are some of your favorite deals over the years that you've just really liked to be involved in?
Well, there's several I can think of. One was helping some really good people who found me on the internet, and I talked to them, and they had sold their property back in Philadelphia and been driving around in a motorhome for about a year and a half.
Wow.
Decided they wanted to live in Las Vegas. They got a hold of me, so I found them a house, and we were trying to decide which one to make an offer on. And the gentleman got up during lunch to go to the restroom, and this lady who was about 4'8" said, "Come here." And I leaned across the table, and she grabbed me by the lapels and said, "Get us a house. I'm going to kill him if you don't." The togetherness of a year and a half in a motorhome was getting to her. So
that was it for them. Karen and I would be the same if we had to be in that, that kind of close proximity. I love her to death, but however, oh my darling, I think she would probably break first, and she'd be grabbing you by the lapels.
Yeah.
So she grabbed you by the lapels and said, "Get us a house," and you were able to find them a home.
Yeah, I found them one that day, just exactly what I wanted: 3 bedrooms with a pool, everything. And they moved in like 10 days. The other one was when I first got my license, it was, I think, December 10th or something. And so come over the holidays, no one was in the office working, and I was there every day because I was new. And this lady pulled up with 2 trucks and said, "I need to find a house today."
Wow.
So I did. I found her a brand new house. It was a model that was being closed out because they sold all of them, and she was able to move in within 10 days.
Wow, you got lucky.
That is just unheard of, Wes. So you're able to find her a house, close the deal, and in 10 days she started moving in.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was doing it with a loan too, so it wasn't cash; it was a loan. So
that's definitely back in how long ago was this?
That was 1995.
Oh, a different day in real estate for certain.
Yes.
Now, so let's before we bring up to current, I gotta ask, Wes. So you go by a name, Vegas Wes,
right? Mm-hmm.
How did this? There's got to be a history on that. I mean, I know you're from Las Vegas, but how did the name Vegas West come up?
Well, I had to come up with an email address, and I tried several, and it just didn't work. And I thought, well, I'm from Las Vegas, my name's Wes, so it's going to be Las Vegas West. But someone, believe it or not, actually had that, and so it became Vegas West. And I thought it worked quite well. I used that on all my branding when I had my other companies, like the Spice Company and things like that. It all worked around Vegas West. So,
and we've had some of your spices. By the way, we just ran out of one of them. Do we have a backup on that, Karen?
I think so.
Okay, we might have a backup.
Okay,
the spice is terrific, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it on eggs, steak, and pork, so it kind of goes across everything. Oh, and I did my vegetables the other day with it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It even makes tofu taste good.
Now, I'm not going to go that far.
Okay.
You stepped across the line. I mean, tofu. I've had tofu, but my best tofu, of course, has bacon on it. So
there we go.
All right. So let's bring it up to speed currently. So now you're in Oregon. Well, you're still licensed in both, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And you're still willing to take a deal back in Nevada?
Yeah, I was down there in January helping people. At this point, my main focus is here in Oregon, but I have a lot of clients down there that might need help, and I will fly down and help them and get them set up and do what we need to do.
Well, of course, everyone wants to know, why did you come to Oregon? I mean, we all know it's a beautiful area, but why did you come?
Families up here, at least the ones I like to talk to. And so that's why. It's mostly just getting back up here. And after 40 some years in Las Vegas, I was a little tired of dry. Of course,
Oh,
so
yeah.
far I've seen enough wet to last me for a while, but we do have water, and Las Vegas is running out of water, so I have real concerns about what's going to happen down there.
Well, Wes, it wasn't a very smooth transition for you, was it?
No, as usual, best laid plans, and it
Yes.
just the way it goes between the real estate market being what it is and everything else. So it took a while, but thankfully I had friends to stay with and family, so I could massage everything into place.
Wow.
Very
Well,
good.
so you definitely a conversation for another time, by the way. But I've also heard the story of the Vegas area running out of water. And
Oh, yes.
I mean, is there a core reason for this?
The drought, they get their water from Lake Mead. Lake Mead has fallen 160 some odd feet in level. And it's getting down to the point where they have to start allocating what they're going to do. And pretty soon it won't even be able to produce electricity through the Hoover Dam. So it's just a matter of that. But so many people rely on that lake that it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because you got millions of people use that for drinking water, plus it supplies a lot of water for the Imperial Valley in Central California, where a lot of vegetables grow. So there's a lot of demand on the water.
Is that the dam or the lake that Karen and I, when we were there, we drove out to the Valley of the Fire?
Mm-hmm.
Or is a Fire Valley? Is
Valley
it
of Fire.
Valley of Fire? And is that the lake that we were looking? Well, Karen could see it. I couldn't, obviously, but is that the lake you could see, Karen?
Yes. It goes there. It's quite a large lake. It's the largest man-made reservoir in the country, and it has fingers all the way up to Overton and up into Utah, just about. So
Wow.
you do see that there. But when you see the bathtub ring in pictures, they usually take that from a distance. Imagine if where you're sitting now, there was 150, 160 feet of water on top of you, and that's how much the lake has gone down. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, it really is. I was living there in the 80s when it filled up because there was so much rain and stuff in Colorado and Utah. I actually went over the overflows, and that was incredible.
This is why Karen and I live at about 1,000 feet high.
Yeah. So you're safe from the tsunami up here, I say.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So Wes, let's bring it up to current. So you get here to Oregon, you're building your practice here. You have 26 years or more of experience in the industry, and now you're here in the Oregon area. In what manner where are you focusing your practice? Is it residential, commercial, condos, single family? What are you focusing on?
Well, primarily residential. I've done a lot of commercial in the past, but right now I'd rather focus on residential. For me, I always focus on the people, because without people, real estate doesn't have any value.
True.
So you have to find the people and find out what their needs are, and that's what I'm trying to do now. The complex where I live is condos, and there's some there I've been talking to about different things. I have other family friends who have some needs. So just a matter of finding how to serve their needs, because if you don't serve people's needs, it doesn't matter, because then land is no value, home's no value. People have to want it and buy it and sell it.
Well, so residential is going to be the core thing, and it doesn't matter to you whether it's single family or condos or townhomes, row houses, or
no, it really doesn't, because I think if you concentrate too hard on the product, then you're trying to find people to fit the product. I'd rather find people and find the products that fits their needs rather than vice versa. So I think that's the key for me, and always has been, where I take care of people and what their needs are, and then that's when I make money. If I don't take care of their needs and meet what they need, I don't make money. It's that simple.
We run into people all the time that think that they're looking for XYZ. Like a 3-bedroom house with double car garage in such and such community. And when you actually nail it down as to what their needs are, what they financially can afford and so forth, with our expertise and whatnot, you find out really it's better for them to maybe be in a condo downtown, or in a different area of town than they were even considering. So I think that's a very good technique that you have there, rather than trying to look, say, all I do is houseboats, so I'm looking for people that want houseboats, that you look at people and figure out what fits them the best.
I really like it.
And one of the tools I use when I sit down with a couple, or if there's more than one person involved in the deal, I put them at opposite ends of a table and say, write down on a piece of paper the 10 most important things you want in a residence in order, and don't talk until we get through, and then we can compare it.
How often are those very different?
90% of the time, they'll say, I didn't know you wanted that. Well, I didn't know you wanted that. So you eliminate a lot of time that way.
Yeah.
And in this market, we don't have that much inventory. So you've got to really kind of hone what their needs are down to what they really want. Because you're right, most people don't. Most people have an idea of some home that they want that probably is not realistic, either through price or location, especially again with this market. So you have to find out what's the important need that they need filled.
Mm-hmm.
This comes back to the thing that people don't take time to discuss some of these things very well. Karen and I have used a similar technique where we'll hand the two spouses a piece of paper each separately, and it'll be the diagram of a house, and then we'll give them 20 M&Ms or jelly beans, and we'll say, pile up your jelly beans or M&Ms in the areas of the house that's most important to you. Well, we had done this for a while, and this one particular time, this gentleman had put all of his M&Ms, I think it was M&Ms, Karen, whatever it was, in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't put a single M&M in the garage. She had put all of them over in the family room and kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And when we shared, because we took photos and we shared back and forth, and we had them go look at each other's papers, it was almost an argument, Karen.
Yeah.
That can happen. I mean, we all know how stressful buying property is, and I don't want to be the cause of anyone's divorce or murder. So
No.
I will avoid that.
Well, it was just so shocking because it caused, as you were doing, this conversation
Mm-hmm.
of, okay, and we had already shown them several houses by this
Mm-hmm.
time, and then for them to realize that they're not even looking for the same assets, which
Right.
is just what your model is doing. You're getting to know the people, and I really like it. But I do want to make sure, Karen, do we have a banner that we can put up Wes's contact information?
Mm-hmm. Right now, his phone number's up.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
going to switch over to email address. Voila. There we go.
And are there best times for people to contact you, Wes?
Anytime's fine. I'm a big boy. If I don't want to answer the phone, I won't answer the phone, but it will go to voicemail. So
Yeah.
in real estate, you have to own the phone. Don't let the phone own you.
Well, that's so true. That's so true.
So,
And Wes, I got to ask. So we're in this crazy seller's market. Lots of us, including yours truly here, is declaring this to be the hottest market in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there's pretty good data to show that. I mean, it's not perfect data because every market that we're in is slightly different. But in a lot of ways, I think it's at least the hottest seller's market that
Mm-hmm.
we've ever seen in recorded history. When is it going to end?
Well, I don't think it's going to end abruptly. I think it may taper off between the raise in interest rates, which is affecting the ability people have to buy. I mean, you have interest rates going up and prices going up at the same time. That's a bad combination. But I don't see it ending abruptly because this is different. In 2007, 2008, that was a false factor that grew that bubble, and that's why it burst.
Yeah.
Here, you've got not a lot of inventory. Supply and demand is pretty much what it is. So I don't think it's going to change abruptly. I do think
I agree with you.
next 6 months, we're going to see some downward pressure on listing prices because I think there's going to be more inventory coming on over the next 4 or 5 months, less buyers. There'll still be a seller's market, but it won't be out of bounds. I could see a decrease in prices overall of 2 to 3% very easily.
I would absolutely agree with that, and that's not to scare people to say
No,
they're not going to have equity in their purchase. It's just not going to be 18-20%.
exactly. And some are even more. I mean, some of the ones I just sold down in Vegas, one house I sold this family, I think it was 3.5 years ago, 330,000. They got 530 for it. So if it went down by 2%, whoopee.
Yeah, no big deal.
It's no big deal. And that's what people are seeing. The people who affect are people who are trying to flip in this market and are paying these prices. They're going to be the ones who don't make it.
The short term flippers.
Yeah, there's no margin for that.
So with this huge increase that you've been seeing and whatnot, have you also seen or recently seen that appraisals are not coming in at value?
I have on a few occasions, yes. And when I bought my condo here, I was hoping it would not appraise for that, and it actually appraised more than what I offered for it. So you just never know.
Yeah.
And every other one has been at value or higher because the appraisers see what's going on in the market. So there can't really be any pressure on the appraisers just to appraise for less. That would be illegal. So I think they're really trying to do a good job. So I haven't seen too many, unless and caveat there is in this market you can still overprice a property.
Yeah. Well, what I've noticed is that some of our buyers will say, yeah, okay, so they're asking for this, and maybe we'll offer them, I don't know, $10,000, $20,000 more because there's a lot of competition. But we just know that appraisal is going to come in low, and then we'll get it at a reasonable price. And I think they're being way too optimistic at this point in the market.
I agree.
So, Wes, if you have a buyer come to you, and of course you're in the business, you're wanting buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still reasonable to say for a buyer, first time buyer, that you can help them find a home?
I think so. That they have to be realistic of what they can afford and what they want. And I would remind a first-time home buyer that this is not your forever home. This is your first step. This is building your foundation for your financial well-being for the rest of your life. So don't expect to get the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
You may have to get a one-bedroom condo or do something like that, or do something different,
The old-fashioned crawl, walk, run method, where for most of us it was that way, Wes, where we bought a home and it wasn't going to be our forever home.
No.
And now Karen and I, we've had a home in the Corbett area for about 15 years, and I don't think it's a forever home, but it certainly is a long-term investment home and family home, and we're not ready to give it up at this point, right, Karen?
Not at this point.
Not yet.
But, have you seen that over the years that buyers' expectations have changed quite a bit? Because I certainly have felt as if a lot more of our first-time home buyers are now asking for, that 3-bedroom, at least 2 baths, a double car garage, the white picket fence thing, and then they want to, throw a number out like 225 or something. Are you seeing that the expectations or the desires have changed over the years, or is it easy to realign their expectations?
Well, I have, and I call it the HGTV effect.
Wow, I might steal that. That's good.
I sat down with all of them, the first-time home buyer, and this were meeting in person sometimes better than online, and really look me in the eye and say, look, this is an HGTV. First of all, we're not going to find a home in 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a while. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon, so be prepared for that. And second of all, tell me what you want. We may or may not get it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to set those expectations. But so many people watch these TV shows. I think that's the way it's done, where we just call someone up and make an offer and it's done. I don't know where that works in any state. You have to write everything down. You have to present an offer. You have to go through the steps.
So true. Hey, Wes, I know that we're running short on time here, but I got to get to one of the last questions in here. Is you don't just do real estate. I mean, you do other things in life. Mm-hmm. So what are do you have pets? Do you like to go hiking? What else do you like to do?
I don't have pets anymore, which that may change. We'll see. But I also am a published author. I've written a novel. I'm working on a science fiction novel right now, so I like doing that. And
Is that something we can find on Amazon?
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we have to go look for this game.
It's called Stanhope Legacy. It's a novel set back in the 1800s, early 1900s, and also wrote a cookbook. Did some other things like that just for fun. So I like doing things like that where it's a little bit challenging, and of course I still do cooking and things.
What is the name of your cookbook?
And beef bordello.
You have that, Karen?
Add beef.
Let me just a minute.
We have to get the name of this cookbook so we can put it in the banner for everyone. I'm always interested in another cookbook. I said this to
Bordello.
Can you see that? I don't know if you can see.
Aunt B's Bordello and boarding house.
Yeah.
So is Aunt B someone to you in life, Wes?
Fictional person. Long story. I won't bore you with it now, but
Yeah.
And basically these are it's a little tiny cookbook just for fun things to do and things like that. So someone challenged me to do it, so I did it and put it on Amazon. And it actually sold. So who knows?
Oh, this is wonderful. I love it. I've written many books myself, as you know, Wes, but never a cookbook. I love cookbooks. When I got together with Karen many years ago, her mother gave me a gift of a cookbook, and it's how to cook authentic Puerto Rican dishes.
Oh, cool.
And it is wonderful. The recipes in it absolutely work. And in fact, I'm planning here shortly to make a coconut crisp bars dessert out of it. So,
yes, Ryan went straight to the dessert section.
Oh, yes.
We'll start trying those.
Wes, it is such an honor to have you on the show today. Thank you for your time. I look forward to having you back again very soon. And we'll keep the banner up here so people know how to get a hold of you, and so you can tour them around, sell their home, or help them buy the home of their dreams. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, Wes has done so much, Karen. I didn't know he had written a cookbook. I mean, this just shows you that people in real estate have done all kinds of things. Every time I meet someone else in real estate, I'm just awestruck at all of the things that they have done in life. And Wes is absolutely an embodiment of this. Okay, moving on. I want to get some congratulations out to a past guest that we had. Her name is Ashley Fordham. And congratulations, Ashley, for winning the president-elect position for Oregon Realtors. Congratulations. This is amazing. You ran for it, and you told us on the interview that you were leaving it all on the table, and that you were putting everything out there that you possibly could, and you ran it. And also the other person running against you ran a great race against you, by the way. But Ashley, you did win. I want to give you congratulations for that. So that is awesome.
So, Rod, when you say president-elect, what year will she be president?
She will actually be president in 2024. So we've had the election, and she did win. She'll be president-elect in 2023. We hold these elections early. So that's the year she'll be you could call it a vice president. We call it president-elect. And then in 2024, she will be actual president of the Oregon Realtors. And then she goes into what we call a past president role, which is an official role of being the most recent past president. So yeah, it's for not everybody has exactly that type of setup, but real estate often in their different associations does, as well as Oregon has it in their different local associations, where I am currently president-elect and of East Metro Association of Realtors, and I will be president next year. So, which the induction of that will be in December. Okay, so I want to talk briefly before we get to. I know I'm pushing up hard against a break here, but I want to talk about personal break-even analysis. And I think Karen, if I can see her, is probably rolling her eyes at me already. But last week we spoke about personal SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You need to be doing a personal SWOT. You need to find out what are your strengths, your weaknesses, what are the opportunities that you should be taking out there, and what are the threats. Once you've done that, of course, it needs to be done regularly, at least annually, and for lots of businesses, they would say quarterly. So, and you are running a business. But then you need to be thinking also, it's not, and then it's also, you need to be thinking about doing a personal business for you're a one-person business for most of you, and you need to be thinking about doing a break-even analysis. Now, I'm just gonna spit out the formula for a break-even analysis, and at some point we need to do a whole show. Well, I have another video on break-even analysis, but at some point we need to expand on that. And so the formula is your average selling price of the product that you have, and that's broken down into commissions, of course, minus your variable costs, multiplied by total units, minus fixed costs. I know it's easy to say the formula. And I say that, as Karen knows, with no notes in front of me. Like, I taught it at the university so many years that it's forever embedded in my brain. But the selling price is the commission coming into you. So a $400,000 house, let's just say that your commission was $10,000. At $10,000, well, it's not all profit. We know that. Every one of you have a lot of expenses. So you have the total selling price that comes into you. We just call it the commission coming into you. And then you have your variable costs. You could call this your COGS for those of you in accounting land. And that is your cost of goods sold. How much did it cost you to create the money that came in? So just think about this for a second. And I know, Karen, we're pushing against the break. How much does it cost you to create that $10,000? You have gas, mileage, and your time, because you're in business for yourself, cannot be counted on now. Because people say, well, my hourly time is $100 an hour. Well, it doesn't work that way. But you do have other costs, signage. All of us go out and we go to Kinko's or wherever it is, and we buy signage, and we have things printed for ourselves, and we have presents and gifts, and we take our clients out, and there are so many fees. And then all the fees associated with your MLSs, and all of those have to come into your fixed cost area. What you're trying to solve for is, how many do you have to sell annually? Of course, it'd be nice to know monthly. How many do you have to sell over a period of time to break even? I encourage you. Today's not the day to dig hard into the break even. I wanted to bring the concept up, though, because you need to be peeling this apart. Of course, in our coaching programs, and I don't know if we have a coaching program banner we can put up, Karen, Kickstarter dot your-realestateguru.com. You can find our coaching programs and our course, where we actually coach you through this, so you can know your personal break even down to the granularity of it. Because I'll tell you, this is a powerful thing to know. All right, when we come back, we've got a bunch of stuff. I told you I'd get back to videos, and we're going to be hitting the video right after this.
So, Rod, what does it mean, 7 minutes to a new career?
Well, in 7 minutes, we can have a cup of coffee. We can talk career goals and how we're going to help you make the biggest career move in your life.
That's right. There's a lot of things that Mountain Hood Realty has to offer, and Rod is a ball of energy.
I love the career, and I want to share with you my passion for building your business bigger than you ever thought it could be.
Come spend 7 minutes with us. We look forward to it.
Talk to you soon.
The Guru is back to talk about videos.
Okay, so last week we were talking about video listings and how hot video listings are. By the way, there's a whole Inman article on video listings. Love it, and how they think to do it. I've been talking about this though, doing video CMAs for years, for at least 3 years. Well, we have reached the age, it's actually coming to fruition now, where it's happening more and more and more. If we know that we are incredibly short of inventory. I mean, the inventory has just gotten down to a point that there just isn't hardly any. So how do you go and create more inventory in an uncertain market? Well, you need to send them a CMA, but you do it in a special way. So you send someone a CMA, that's that comparative market analysis, and it's like 60 pages. It's this crazy long thing. Let me give you a secret. Nobody reads it. They all flash through the first couple of pages and they're done. But there's other really good information in there that is highly persuasive that people should know about. And how you can get to that is you send them the document, but you also send the person a video. And you can send the video on text message. You can send the video on an email. You can host the video on something and have them log into it, depending on your relationship and what's going on with the client. Now, I personally love to send it to their text because they can, we all watch these videos from text message directly. We just click on them and we're busy watching them. The video needs to be less than 4 minutes, more likely about 3. All you're going to do is go through that. You're going to refer to the CMA that you have sent to them, and you're going to hit the high points, the big stuff. And then you need to have a link right there at the end of your video to schedule an appointment with you, free, of course, that will allow them to take advantage of your knowledge base on this CMA. You want to know the equity of your home? I have a free product for you. Let me go through the top 6 points here real quick on this video, and then we can get together and I'll further break down why we know this CMA to be accurate for your home, and we can dial this in even further with a tour of your home. That's how you bring this home and really make it powerful. Yes, it's people run from video a little bit, but we are in the age of video, Karen. I mean, we have reached the age, and Karen's been saying this longer than me. It took me a while to come up to speed in it, but we are definitely in the age of video, and it's incredible how powerful video is. Let me take a sip of my coffee here. Okay, so NER report. I want to jump over my stack of stuff. I can already tell I'm down in a few minutes here. I'm not going to get to everything, but so the NER has a report that there is a lack of affordable homes. We all probably knew this, but now we actually have a report. It's right at the nar.realtor. You can find it nar.realtor and go to the newsroom, and there's a whole report there about the lack of affordable homes. There is now documented evidence. We would have more sales, of course, if we had more inventory, but the inventory we even have isn't necessarily affordable to most homeowners. It's the people that are already involved in owning homes that are just switching out and buying more homes, because those are the ones that can actually do it. So combining this with it's hard to have a home and meet everyone's needs. So we have this shortage of inventory, and the homes that are out there are not meeting people's needs generally. This is because of the pandemic largely. So coming out of the pandemic, we have a couple problems. We have, number one, affordability issues because of this huge lack of inventory. Then we have this need issue of what's actually in the home. So combine the first part of that with first-time home buyers. It's considered that we are up now considerable on how long it takes to raise money to buy a home, and it's considered it takes up to 3 years of saving to buy your first home. Now, there's a bunch of programs that are zero down. Those are not overall the products that are winning the sale. So you have a home that goes up for sale, it would qualify for a zero down product. But generally, that is not the product that's winning right now. And that makes it hard for first-time home buyers because it's taking them now about 3 years to save up enough money to buy. That's huge, Karen.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Okay.
I mean, people are starting to wonder where the interest rates are going to be if they have to wait that long to save up money.
Exactly. Well, this, of course, slows our market down, unfortunately. The NAR also now has filed an amicus curiae brief. Now, let me just, for those that aren't familiar with amicus curiae briefs, also known as an amicus brief, that is considered a friend of the court. Amicus curiae briefs, friendly briefs. They're not so friendly when you read them, actually, because they're advocating for something. But in this case, the NAR is advocating for homeowners. And so we have these problems going on. And then you have, for people who want to sell their home, often in the sale of the home, people want to know what is the floor plan. So all this is tying together. They want to know what is the floor plan. Now, wouldn't it be wonderful just to go and draw your floor plan? People are being sued for drawing out. They're not a licensed engineer. They're being sued for drawing out their own floor plans because they're not exact and they're being relied upon. Well, NAR, there is a case right now for a federal case, and the NAR has filed an amicus brief, a friend of the court, an amicus brief on this, saying, stop, that something has to be done here because people are being sued they're just trying to help. You know, you draw out, people say, well, can you sketch out basically what your home is? You thought you were doing a good thing to find out later that you have liability for doing a sketch of your own. You're not doing a sketch of your neighbors because we know you can't do that. That would be an engineering situation or an architect situation. However, of your own home, you see, well, that room is 10 feet by 10 feet. This one is 10 by 14. And you get some grid paper and you basically sketch it out. But you're not licensed to do it. And the NAR has jumped in and said, we need to stop this liability. And as your guru, I will tell you, I agree with what's going on that. Okay. Over 420 billion. I almost said million. There has been over $420 billion invested in home remodel last year. 420 billion. That's more than 420,000 million. This is incredible. These numbers are super large. on just how big that is. Well, what are the investment opportunities that people are remodeling for coming out of the pandemic, or in the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic? Home offices, not number one necessarily, but in the top 10 things. Home office. Home office. People are instead of separating ourselves away from our work, people are saying, I don't want to travel, and I think I can do this sustainably and be at home. This is really huge, Karen, that people are thinking about being at home permanently. So home offices are going in, more wood floors are going into homes. Now, I think there's a lot of reasons for the wood floors going in. I'm a huge fan of wood or wood-like type products, because I think that they're just simply cleaner, in my opinion. So also, people feel like they need more space for family because they're hosting more family in a home. And then of the top reasons, comfort is certainly one of those reasons. And that is absolutely huge. You start remodeling for those kind of reasons. Well, $420 plus billion going into remodel is amazing. And then you can't make a sketch of your own home, and there's a suit stopping that. Thankfully, the NAR is fighting this, and I'm hopeful that they can prevail in this. Okay, I've still got a stack of stuff. We will get to it next week. A bunch more news on the table for sure. It was a wonderful opportunity to interview Wes today. Take a minute and hit that like button. I would love it if you'd hit the like button. Make a comment. You can contact Wes Davis directly if you need somebody to either sell your home or help you buy the home of your dreams. Also, take a moment and follow us on social media. And in YouTube, you can click the button to follow us and be part of the Guru members only events. I look forward to speaking with you next week. This is Mountaintop Chats. Talk to you soon.